Hey guys, it's been a minute. I know you missed me, but I'm back. Special guest appearance by the OG host himself, me, Joe Kelly. With me today, as usual, I've never introduced him this way, but the Mafia Lord, Mr. Cicero Holmes. Cicero, how have you been?
I have been doing very, very well. Joe, welcome back.
Yes. Thank you.
Say hi to your mother for me.
Next time I see her, I will absolutely do that.
Thank you very much, sir.
And Justin, back with us again. The Rubber Duck 2500 _ 2500 if you're looking for him on Twitter. But how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I saw your name in there and I was like, what is Joe Kelly doing in here? Popped in and I was surprised just as much as our fans are right now. Welcome back. It's good to have you back. It's going to be a fun time.
It's great to be back, and it's been a minute, but I think I still remember how to do this. So we're going to go into the opener. If you're here, obviously you're here for the weekly video game debate show, which is Test Your Might. I am graciously hosting this week, and I'm super happy to be back. Today we are going to talk about the biggest game of the year for me, maybe of the decade or 2 decades. But it's going to be Hogwarts Legacy. I finally get to go to Hogwarts. I finally get to be a wizard. I finally get magical powers. Eventually, whenever the game releases. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it today. Moving on, which is why it's confused me. The Perfect Dark reboot. We're talking about it. Things happen in there. That was very much a game that I grew up on, so I'm excited about it. And then for our leaderboard today, we are talking about the top 5 Game Pass games to play on Steam Deck. Ooh, it's a mouthful. But first, let's talk about what you guys can do for us. We're bringing you awesome content. I hope you love it. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, you can always leave a review. Look at me, I'm Dr. Seuss. If you could leave us a review, though, on Apple or Spotify or YouTube in the comments, or turn the bell on over way down there over there. Just let us know how we're doing, how you like us, what you think of us. If you like us a lot, rate us high. If you don't like us a lot, rate us high, and then tell us why you hate us. And then we'll change and try and make that, we'll make that jump to where you'll love us. If you are on Spotify, it's mobile only. Mm-hmm. If you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and comment. We actually do read all the comments. And if you're there, please hit the subscribe button. We are on our way to 100 subscribers, so we can have the custom URL link. So all you have to do is type in the 90s first instead of JW blah, 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 numbers, letters, and nonsense. So help us out while we bring you this awesome entertainment. Housekeeping. Like I said, been a minute. I know where we're going, though. We, not me, but we, the 90s First guys, just did an amazing Batman review for the new Batman movie. Mike, Justin, and
Chris
special
Clow.
guest of the show, yes, Chris Clow, was on it. He is a unbelievable, just font of knowledge when it comes to Batman. Mike is a huge Batman nerd. Justin is just a huge nerd in general. Superman is better, obviously. Sorry, Mike, but Batman's great. Yeah, snuck that one in there. Love you, buddy. So if you want to hear our take on the new Batman, we have a review up. It's on all the podcast feeds. It's on YouTube. And let's see, soon we will be on our friends of the podcast show, the Infinity Bros, who was just here the other day, 2 weeks ago now, I think.
Two episodes ago.
Yeah.
2 episodes ago. And we'll be on there to debate some MCU stuff. So if you're interested in hearing our take on their show and maybe us walloping them, it's always a shot because we're used to debating here. Shots fired. Looking at you, buddies. Go ahead and give them a follow, and then you can check us out when we're on their episode. I say we very generously. I probably won't be there, so don't come looking for me. But if you're looking for Justin, Mike, Cicero, someone else, you'll find them. I think that's the housekeeping. Guys, did I miss anything?
No.
You missed the spot in the corner, but I got it for you. Don't worry about it.
Winning. All right. Then we're moving on. What have we been playing? And you know what? I haven't been here in a while, so I'm going to start.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I have been playing not just Apex.
Oh.
Whoa. I know. It's been a while.
You can't blow my mind twice in one day.
I know. I've been playing Pokemon Sword with my son. The game is amazing. It's so good. I've been playing a little bit handheld. Not my favorite. Been playing a lot up on the 4K though. 60 inches of Pokemon. Never thought I'd want it so bad. It's the best way to play the game. My son and I are like handing the control back and forth and taking down bosses and catching new Pokemon, and he's loving every bit of it. And for me, it's such a huge nostalgia kick that it's like, it's just been an amazing time, a great experience. And I'm enjoying every second of it. I do still play Apex. So if you're out there and you want to, hook up with me and we can like run through some ranked, I'm in Diamond. Come find me.
Ooh.
I don't remember my gamer tag.
Man, bragging.
But it's
a little,
something.
huh?
A little bit. Like I like to, just set it down there, right there.
Yeah.
So they know, right?
Right.
Don't sleep on me.
Right. Exactly. I
think that's it for games I've been playing. So just lots of Pokemon, a little bit of Apex. We're gonna go Justin. Justin, what have you been playing?
Earlier this week, I continued my journey into Elden Ring. First Dark Souls game, like I said, still holding up, enjoying it. But I did set it down. I wanted to try a few other things. It was a grind, so I wanted to get a few other games in my arsenal before we talk today. One of those was the reason I bought an Oculus, other than for you, Cicero, Resident Evil 4 VR. And it's good. It's very good. Not something Jelly would play, but it is very good. Great gameplay. You have two options. You can either have the weapons on a wheel that you use and select them from there, or you can have them on your body. You just grab where the weapons are, a knife here, a gun on your hip, and you pull it out, load the mag, and go for it. And it's good. It's
all right.
The sound is great. When they're behind you, and you turn around. It's pretty good. Other than that, I picked up a game that came out on Game Pass recently. I know I saw Cicero over here started it, at least. That would be the game called Tunic. And this is the baby version of Dark Souls. A mix between Death's Door and Legend of Zelda. And it's phenomenal. I've played just under 3 hours, and I've accomplished a lot. And I've enjoyed every moment of it. The game is difficult, but also very, very reminiscent of my childhood. Nostalgia for like Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time dungeons. It's very good. Battling is very interesting. I don't know, Cicero, you go ahead. I want to hear you talk about it a little bit too. But I am enjoying it. I think it's one of the best things to hit Game Pass in the recent months, for sure.
All right. Cicero, what have you been playing? Obviously some Tunic.
Justin lies. He's no. Well, yeah. So I've been playing some NBA 2K, but yeah, I'm not going to bury the lead. I have been playing Tunic.
All right.
I picked it up, and what Justin says rings true. It is just like a Zelda game. Well, what happened was this game is such a Trojan horse, right? It like you turn the game on, it looks really pretty. Right, like they've got mascot appeal with the titular character Tunic. So you're expecting a platformer, maybe a Zelda-like adventure game or something. Mm-hmm. And you're in for like the first 20 minutes of the game because it doesn't tell you anything, right? Mm-hmm. You just start the game and you just kind of explore. Yep. And so you're like exploring and you're doing stuff and then like you get a stick and you start combat, right? And you're beating a couple of things up and you're like, oh, this is, easy peasy. And then there's like a save point. I'm like, oh, this save point is kind of weird. It's, it's almost like a Dark Souls game where they have these weird save points where there's, it's like a campfire or something to that effect. But then the enemies return, like in these Dark Soul games.
Ooh.
And I'm like, yeah, all right. and then I finally get to a point where I'm facing tougher baddies, and I die. and then when I come back, I realize that I've got to go back and find my ghost to get my coins and stuff back.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, these jerks have tricked me into playing a Souls-like, right? Like, I've never played them. Elden Ring is out right now, and everyone is loving it. You know, new converts to the genre. But I mean, this is like one of those types of games. It is very much in the same kind of vein of like Demon Souls, and but mixed with, like, yes, people are going to make a lot of comparisons to this and Death's Door, because of the Metroidvania portions of components of both games. But I think this game leans more into the Legend of Zelda stuff. It leans harder into that frame and that realm than Death's Door even did, and Death's Door was great. This game is really effing tough. I've got to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stick with it. I think it may beat me.
Okay. Let me throw a little bit in here, maybe to give you some hope. So throughout the game, this will probably entice Jelly into getting the game as well, because the entire game is a different language, a confusing language that you can't understand. Yes. Whenever you read something, some of it's in English, but the majority of it is in a language that you can't understand. And throughout your gameplay, you find pages to an instruction manual, which is laid out very similar to like a Super Nintendo instruction manual or a Legend of Zelda old school NES instruction manual, with pictures and images and some numbered. English. And the pages are numbered. And as you get pages, there's an overworld map. There's all different types of items that are listed, just as if you were opening up an instruction manual for an old school game. And that is your hint.
Yep.
Read those manuals, move forward from them, because every detail in the manual that you can understand is there for a reason. And that tells you what you need to do and what's going to help you to achieve not dying as much. And after I learned that, the game has been fun and challenging at times, but more breeze than anything.
Yeah, well, so the one of my favorite kind of love letters to the Souls-likes came from Brian Altano, who's of IGN and Nintendo Voice Chat now. I used to be on Podcast Beyond, but he said that he started playing Dark Souls or Demon Souls, one of the Souls games, and because he got to it late, people recommended it to him, so he finally decided to bite the bullet and he picked it up. And for like the first week, he hated the game. He absolutely hated it. And he was like, this is the worst game ever. Like, I don't understand how people can like this. And then he gave it one more try, and like something clicked, and then he just fell in love with it. And and now he's a convert. And I wonder if that's something that will happen to me. I just know that for me right now, I look at this game and I look at my life and I'm like, do I have the time in my life to get good to like appreciate this game? Because I see the bones there. The bones are great.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I have enough energy and or stamina or patience to get to the point where I can be good enough to really enjoy the bones. Sifu was a lot more approachable when it came to that, right? Like, you feel competent from the start. The game is hard, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't ever feel impossible, right? Like, you realize that you've got to like figure the thing out. And I don't know if Tunic's gonna get there for me, but we'll see.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
Right,
the only
as someone
thing
who
I can
hasn't played
really, the only thing I can really say is, it was difficult at first, and it was more exploration, like you said. Once you start getting those pages of that manual and you see things, they are very, very smart with what they tell you when they tell you it. Because once you start getting pages, you realize, wait a second, this thing has been here this whole time and I just didn't know about it, and I've been walking past it this long, and the mystery starts to unravel, and the things that you didn't even know were around you are around you to your benefit. So it's insane.
Okay.
It's very good, and it's got me hooked for sure.
Yeah, it's on my hard drive. So I definitely will revisit it. Not definitely will probably. I will definitely revisit it. So.
And you said it's on Game Pass?
It's on Game Pass right now. Yeah.
It's on Game Pass.
Might have to get some Game Pass again.
Also,
you'll relive those Zelda vibes for sure with this game.
Yeah. Also on Game Pass was another game that was in the Indie Showcase, the Idea at Xbox Indie Showcase. A game called Paradise Killer.
Okay.
Yeah. And this game it's a Japanese. It's a Japanese game about, I don't know. You've got to solve a murder.
Oh, is this the one with the video footage?
No. This isn't the one with the full motion video. This is like, it's got the same kind of like Japanese. It's got the same kind of art style as like Persona 5, or maybe was the Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, and you're on this island, and your job is to try and figure out who the killer was of this person, and you've got to do a bunch of different things. It's very, very weird. It is
okay,
but it's good.
Very weird.
So is this an endorsement?
Like, I mean,
kind of just be prepared for weird.
Right. I don't know, but like, here's the thing. Here's the brilliance. I was like, I don't know what this game's about. Let me give it a shot. See what's going on here. And I just played it in the cloud.
So okay, that's good. No loss.
I hit the little cloud thing on the console, and 20 seconds later, I was playing the game.
The weird game.
That's so nice. So convenient.
So, yeah.
All right.
So, like, do that, right? Like,
what was that one called? One more time?
It's called Paradise Killer.
Paradise Killer. Okay.
Yeah, I saw it in the past. For sure.
Yeah, and it's got one thing that is killer is the music. The music is all over the place. It's really great. There's like weird like fusion jazz and like some like 90s synth pop, and like it's all over the place. What a weird game. And the fact is you don't even have to download it. You could just start playing it.
Yeah. I don't even try it after the show.
Right. Do the thing. What else am I playing? I'm playing Sifu. I'm playing NBA 2K. Playing Madden. I'm also playing also on Game Pass, No Man's Sky.
There you go.
I heard about it.
I installed it.
Yeah.
I installed it. So
last week I was gonna play, and I decided to play, and there are so many. There are like options now.
Yeah.
From the first time I had even experienced it, the only time I had experienced it was at launch on the PlayStation 4.
Yeah. That's right.
So it's been
I had a hard copy of it, so yeah.
Yeah. So what a big difference that game is from what it was. And it's cool. It's really cool. There are elements of it that are things that I wish could have been incorporated into Elite Dangerous. And then the rest of it is just a different type of space game. Yeah. And I really dig that for what it is. I'm looking forward to getting deeper into it.
I haven't
Yeah,
played it in a long time. But
I've always
it was
seen
good
it.
when I played it.
Yeah, I've always seen it as kind of like Minecraft in space.
Yes.
And it does well with that, and a lot of those features that should have been implicated into Elite Dangerous were added after launch.
Right.
Right. Which is sad. They've worked so hard to put that game back on the radar and fix the issues, that it had.
Yeah. Well, it's Elite Dangerous isn't dead yet, but it is definitely.
I heard it had a fatal wound.
It's turning a corner.
It's
turning
just a flesh
corner.
wound.
Right. Yes.
You got hit with the Nazgul blade.
Yeah. Right.
No, not that.
Yeah. I think on console it is probably mortally wounded, but I think on PC it'll be fine-ish. We'll see what it becomes.
How would you like it if Xbox was just like, I'm gonna buy the rights and the IP and fix this game and bring it back for the fans?
More power to them. I just don't. I don't know that Microsoft wants those problems.
Yeah.
So,
They bought Blizzard.
They just bought some problems.
Right.
I don't think they need any more.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm ready to move on because the news, as I mentioned earlier, we're talking about Hogwarts, Hogwarts Legacy State of Play. And while I love that we've been playing a bunch of games, I want to talk about the game that I want to play. And the game that I want to play, the game that I will put Apex down for and Pokemon down for, and I will invest probably way too much time, definitely way too much time, into is Hogwarts Legacy. The State of Play for it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Gorgeous, unbelievable, awesome, wonderful. I had some issues because I'm a big Potterhead and an absolute nerd when it comes to Harry Potter. But before I say anything, what did you guys think? Sister, I'm going to you first because I went to Justin first on the last one.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So what did you think of Hogwarts Legacy State of Play, the 22-ish minutes of footage and then behind the scenes that we got?
It was cool, I think, right?
Okay.
So, I mean, the best way to phrase it is ambitious.
Great word.
So there was lots there that they are proposing that they'll be able to do, or that you'll be able to do as a wizard at Hogwarts in the 1800s, right? Before any of the movies, right?
Yeah, before Fantastic Beasts, before
right,
Harry Potter.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Before it all.
Yeah, before anything that we've seen in this universe. And that's incredible, right? That's everything that anybody that has been a fan of this series could ever dream for.
Yes.
And then to top that off, they've shown you what being a wizard would be like, right? And wizarding combat, which is something that I'm sure people have thought about, but it's most of it was dude, I want to go to Hogwarts. Dude, I want to go into classes and do potions and run the grounds and do all that. And they're like, yeah, you can do all that, but also you're going to be a badass wand wielder, and that's shooting people and doing all sorts of leviosa and right and there's different classes and you can do all okay, right? This is everything that someone who wanted to be in that franchise who has ever fantasized as they're sitting and watching the movies and reading the books and doing the stuff. This is it. Now, whether they're going to be able to execute all of those things is really the question. It's the thing that I have the most anxiety about. This during my soliloquy, those of you listening to the podcast, Joe has been genuflexing, pointing at himself and flashing countless
I have a problem.
Harry Potter Blu-rays.
Paraphernalia. I got the books. I got the journals.
Yes.
I got the sticker books. I got the making of books.
So,
I have a problem. I'll admit it.
all right. Well, yeah, and I, I think that the video is set to add to your problems.
Absolutely
Whether or not it becomes a problem is a matter of quality, and that is where that's where I have anxiety. I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, can they do it? Justin, what do you think? Do you think they can pull it off?
I'm just gonna say it now. They're very tall orders. I definitely echo what Cicero was saying. I thought that immediately when watching this trailer. This state of play type video that they did was the closest that video games have come since E3 of last year for me. Watching it, I started already with great hype, and then it just kept going and adding more things that blew my mind more and more, and it just was never ending until the end of the trailer. And then even after, I wanted to go back and watch it again. Very tall orders, but I think I can say it safely. I can definitely say it safely that I believe Game of the Year this year could go between Elden Ring, Hogwarts Legacy, or Starfield. If Hogwarts Legacy holds up to what they're saying they're going to do. I feel like this game has a lot of potential, and the fan base is ridiculous for Harry Potter. As you can see, our host up there. I'm also a huge Harry Potter fan. Not quite to Jelly's level, but I just started freaking out when I started seeing this stuff. The unique storyline, the combat. I do have one gripe, and that is the style of combat that was going on with the wand. It seemed a lot more flashy than I would have liked it. They're doing like behind the back and then spin and then throw a bolt. I felt like it was a little much, but it kept you intrigued. It kept you immersed into that world. Okay. The thing that I was so blown away by is that room of what's it called, Jelly?
The room of requirement.
Yes. Okay. So your central hub of creation to make potions, to build. They were placing a building in this room. I felt like this was their way of making sure this game lasts forever, because that's a simple way to automatically get DLC in the future. Just implicated already in a space that's created. And I feel like the thing that blew me away, I know this is probably different from you, Jelly. I didn't see any Quidditch in it, which is kind of upsetting. But I did see broomstick flying, which was awesome. Right. The thing that blew me away was the training of the beasts and seeing the different beasts. That is huge. Either for collecting resources for crafting and spells and potions, to just raising mythical beasts, and like the different variety in the trailer alone was ridiculous. And that I was like, okay, all right. And that was one of the last things they showed. Like, I wasn't expecting that. It was like all cool, great. I'm in already. And then they're just like, adding a little icing on the top of the cake. And here's a little cherry too, an extra whipped cream. And we're pre-cutting the slices and feeding it to you. I cannot wait for this game to come out. I hope it holds up to its bars that it's setting, because they're pretty high. And I can't wait. I know before the podcast started, Jelly and I were talking about it should have a VR mode. And I'm like, would this push the line for Jelly? Going into the Forbidden Forest is kind of scary. And you've got Dementors and all kinds of beasties coming at you in VR.
He would do it, 100%.
That would push the line and allow Jelly to be in VR scare. Like, I'm for it. Bring it.
Yeah,
I'm down.
I'd be a wizard.
Right.
I'd be in the wizarding. Yeah, I'd be in the wizarding world. All right. I loved the trailer. I don't watch trailers. If you guys have been here for any amount of time, you know that I actively avoid them. And it's not quite the same for video game trailers as it is for movie and TV things, but I still try to avoid them. But what was that? A few days ago, Justin says, you need to watch this, and sends me the link. You have to watch this. And I'm like, well, it's a spoiler. I don't really, I've seen a little bit, and like, I know I want to play it. And he's like, no. You don't understand. You have to watch this. You have to do it. And so I'm like, okay. So I started it. I got like 7 minutes in. I was watching on my phone. I was at work. Probably shouldn't have been at work watching my phone, but I was. I was at work watching this trailer on my phone going, oh my God, this is amazing. Oh my God, I can't wait to play this game. And then I had to put it down because I was at work and, coworkers are seeing me on my phone. So I just watched the rest of it tonight, right before we recorded. So I'm a little bit hyped about it. And I haven't let it sink in that it's not real yet. Like, that's just what they want. And this is what their idea is. They're pushing for all this. And I haven't quite got it into my head that that's not the finished product. And that's not what I might get. Well, but right now, man.
To be fair, right? It is close, right? Like this is
they said mixed gameplay
right?
footage.
It's not right. This isn't some like old school Fable presentation or something like that. This is like actual footage from the game that's not polished, right? This is what they're planning on bringing to everybody as the finished product.
Yeah. And I'm on board.
But yeah, so if they had, Justin, if they had said, oh yeah, and it's going to be in VR, that's when I would know that they're selling everybody snake oil. Right?
Yeah. So I just thought it would be amazing in VR. I don't think it's coming to VR.
Right.
Maybe after launch.
I am very, very dubious that this game is going to be everything that they said it was going to be, and it's going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really hope it does.
Man, I hope it does too. But and yeah, it just seems to
not
me,
not more than that guy.
Too good. It just seems too good to be true.
It does. They've had a long time to get it right, so hopefully it's not. I'm willing to wait. That's where I'm at. Like, and I know we all say that, and everyone's like, "Oh, I want it to be out. I'll wait. I want it to be out. I'll wait." And we go back and forth on it. And that's because we get really hyped about something, and we just want it in our hands. If it takes another year,
okay,
as heartbreaking as that would be, like, it wouldn't be, because when we got that game that they want to give us, the game that they're developing, that they want to hand off to the people like me who are way too obsessed with Harry Potter. If I can immerse myself in that and make it feel real, or air quoting for the listener only people, real, if I can feel immersed in that and have it feel like I am doing all these things, they will have signed a blank check, or I will have signed a blank check over to them, to which they could just cash cow the heck out of me. I will pay for that. Like, I have already spent, I don't know how much money on Harry Potter stuff.
Right. And you'll spend more.
And I'm going to keep doing it, right? I have an addiction, an obsession with this. And if they deliver that game that I saw, or the game that maybe I'm building up in my head a little bit, if they give that to me, there's no way I'm not spending money on it. Like, it was too good not to spend money on. And if they give me more stuff, if I have to buy, a firebolt, if I have to spend $20 to get a firebolt skin on my broom, even though it doesn't do anything, I'm probably going to do it. Or if I have to buy some specific house merch, I'm probably going to do it.
Let's be real for a second. You're going to buy it, right? You're going to buy the game.
I'm going to buy the game.
The question is whether or not you'll still be playing the game. And I think that's where it is. So they're going to make money.
Yes.
Right? It's just like the Avengers game made money because it has that license. Right. But it could also be the Avengers game. I want to believe
we're both
not, dead. Right? I want to believe I want to believe that it's not going to be.
Yes.
But they really, wow, if they're able to really deliver on what they promise, man,
it's going to be a huge game. Justin's right. That's game of the year Like,
Contender if it hits
contender,
the points, yes.
If they deliver on their proposed promises,
Easy.
I'm in for it. Obviously, we already know I'm spending that money. But
also,
yeah,
just for
all the
confusion
little things.
just for confusion for fans, I know it was on Sony's State of Play special announcement. It is multi-platform, so don't think it's only coming to PS5. It will be on Xbox, and I don't know if PC's confirmed, but I'm sure they'll bring it to PC.
Yeah, PC is confirmed. Yeah.
I have an Xbox and a PC. I should be okay.
Jelly's gonna buy
Not
both
that
versions.
I'm worried about all you guys listening too, but if I have to, if it's better on PC, I might.
Well, you won't know unless you buy it, right?
It is coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and when Nintendo Switch and Windows.
Wow.
Nintendo Switch. Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm a little impressed by that one. All right. I can keep going, but I feel like we should move on. I'm really excited for it. I want it to be here now.
I can't tell.
That's the last I'll say on it, except for when I obviously break that promise and talk about it later. But for now, more news. The initiative has seen many other staff leave, and it appears as though Crystal Dynamics is going to be a lot more involved in the Perfect Dark reboot. What do you guys think this means? And Justin, we'll swing over to you first. What do you think this is going to mean for Perfect Dark? And what do you think about it?
You know, it's sad. It's a sad story. That was literally one of Microsoft's companies that they made for gaming. And if there's issues there, it's going to delay the game. But if it's not the vision that they had, then I'm okay with it. There's plenty of games. There's a plethora of games coming from Microsoft in the near future. And I feel like make sure that your staff is happy and everyone is on the same page. That's huge before proceeding, because that's how issues happen, is when everyone's not happy and staff is complaining about certain things not working the way they should be, or if they have a vision and they're just shut down immediately because it's not upper management's idea of what it should be. That's an issue. And I really feel like if Microsoft doesn't want another thorn in their back, which with Blizzard possibly being an acquisition here, they have a bunch of those coming soon, and I feel like if they don't want that, then they should definitely lend a hand in, or at least let them know, hey, we got to straighten this out. This is a game that we promised, and we want to work on it. It's one of our original properties. And fans, that's something you want to reboot. And if it comes out and it's not good, it's not going to kill the franchise, but it'll definitely hurt the future of that franchise, being a game that's something loved by a lot. Just like Duke Nukem was. Duke Nukem was loved by a lot, and then Forever came out after a long, long time, and it just didn't stand up. And I feel like if another game comes out, especially in a franchise like Perfect Dark, that isn't good and doesn't stand up to what they promised, it's not going to be good for the franchise as a whole.
And Cicero?
Yeah, well, two things here. So the first is when obviously there was a breakdown in communication, a serious one, between the folks over at Initiative and Microsoft or someone. When there's a mass exodus, that means lots of people are saying the same thing or are feeling the same way about the direction. So that's one thing. Then the other thing is, I don't think people really care about Perfect Dark. Like, I think Microsoft's trying to get people to care about Perfect Dark, but like the last time Perfect Dark was good, right?
N64, baby.
Was in Nintendo 64. And,
heck yeah.
Right? And Perfect Dark was good not because the game itself was good, but because the engine was good, and people just wanted another GoldenEye game
That's fair.
to play, right?
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
so What Rare did was they cooked up some, a story. They put a story in words into the Storymatic, and they came out with Joanna Dark and this story and this game, and it was fun. It was great. It was a woman heroine, a woman protagonist, and all of that stuff was awesome. And you had goofy guns, and it was near future. Like all of that stuff was cool. But that was 25 years ago. It's not as cool now. But
it's still cool.
Right. Yeah,
I hope.
Right.
I really hope it's still cool.
When they talk about Perfect Dark, right? Like when Perfect Dark's on the stage and they're teasing it and they're doing all these things, and people are you don't hear any hooting and hollering because they every time they announce the game, it was just via video. So there wasn't there wasn't the buzz in the room. But if I could imagine the buzz in the room, the buzz is for nostalgia.
Yeah,
right.
That's fair.
But it's nostalgia for the logo and not nostalgia for the games, right? Like,
yeah, kind of what it stood for, what it was at the time,
right?
not really
Right, like
what it is now.
Not the games, because nobody that's playing games right now has played a good Perfect Dark game. Like when it came out, right?
Yeah.
Like if you did, you're old like me.
Yeah, I played it when it came out, and I feel like that's accurate. We haven't had a good Perfect Dark game in 2 decades.
It's really what I'm saying is like, if they don't deliver something good, then the fans that they do have, if there are any, are going to be gone for sure.
So that's the thing. Like, I don't know if there are any, like, there's nobody sitting around with like the Perfect Dark tattoo that's, camping out at midnight to go and get the Perfect Dark game. When the Perfect Dark game releases, people will check it out and say, oh, that's cool. Especially if it's on Game Pass. Like, yeah, that's fine, and I don't think anybody's going to be disappointed by the Perfect Dark game not being great. I think people will be pleasantly surprised if it is great.
Yeah.
And that's the pressure that they're working with. So if the initiative was trying to do something and Microsoft or whomever decided that they didn't like the direction that it was going, and they're trying to figure out some other way, some other direction, go ahead and do it. When it finally comes out, hopefully it's pretty good. If it isn't, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to lose any sleep because the Perfect Dark franchise is kind of falling by the wayside. I wasn't thinking about it 5 minutes before this story. So whatever.
Yeah, it's been by the wayside for a little too long.
Right. Yeah.
That's fair.
It was the last time Perfect Dark was relevant, not even good. The last time it was relevant was the 360 launch. It was a 360 launch title. And launch titles, with the exception of Halo and Breath of the Wild, are universally meh at best. At best. So, and that's all it was. 360 came out in 2005. They haven't made a game in 15 years and nobody's asked for one.
Wow. All right. That's our thoughts on it. And if you like those, don't forget, follow us. We got Stubby Stan over here on Twitter. We got Rubber Duck _2500 over there. There and there respectively, I believe. Unless I flip-flopped them. But either way, that's how we feel. And if you like these hot takes, come back. Every week we got a new episode sharing more and more like that. But it's time for the namesake segment of the show.
Uh-oh.
And if you're ready, we will test your might. Cicero, Justin, it's been a minute, but I think I can still judge these.
It definitely nice you saying that for sure.
Yes.
It gave me shivers.
All right. We're jumping into it. With Hogwarts Legacy set to be released this holiday. What does that mean? Can't they just say a date? Of course not. But this holiday, air quotes, what video game character that isn't a wizard already, is not, would make a good student at Hogwarts? And I have not been here in a minute, but I did listen to last week's episode, and I'm going off of who didn't offend me the most.
Wow. All right.
Well,
and so, Cicero, you have the power this time.
Yeah.
Oh,
I definitely
man.
said Link to the Past in that leaderboards there a little bit.
Yes, he did.
Oh,
He repeatedly took a dookie on my favorite Zelda game because he knows how I feel about it.
Wow.
So, Cicero, the power is
Usually
yours.
what
Do you go
happens.
first or do you hand it off?
I will not besmirch the graciousness with which this gift was given, and I will use this time to go first. Thank you very much, sir.
Awesome. Okay, so what video game character would make a great student at my alma mater, Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry?
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I had a character, but this character is not a video game character.
Oh,
So I can't use that character.
double check. Maybe there's a one-off. No.
Well, see,
Do you want me to go first?
yeah, I tried. Yeah, you know what? You go ahead, go first, Justin. After all that blustering.
And the power comes back to the Link to the Past.
Oh,
My character is in a video game that I love very much, and it's been mentioned a few times in this episode alone. And that's Princess Zelda.
okay.
Mhm.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna cut right there, Cicero,
Yeah,
and then we'll start the
okay.
arguments. I like the ideas that I got going in my head, but sadly, you got to put different ideas there. I can't go off what I'm thinking. Cicero, do we have a character from a video game picked out?
Yes.
All right.
All right. So this character, I don't know if you guys have ever played. Well, yes, you've definitely played a game with this character in it. I'm going to say also from the same era as Princess Zelda.
Oh.
Okay.
The best
Little
era
Mac.
or the Ocarina of Time era? Which one?
The best era from the original era.
Oh.
This character is Little Mac from
Wow.
Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Little Mac from Mike
All
Tyson
right.
Punch Out. Okay. And Justin, he gave you the reins to go first, so please tell me why you believe Princess Zelda would make a better witch, because she's female,
Yes.
than, and we're not talking about warlocks here. Anyways, different rabbit hole. So why would she make a better witch than Little Mac?
Now Zelda isn't characterized as a witch. She is a magic user, but she's never been characterized as a witch. I know I looked in depth because I was like, this needs to happen, because she's been portrayed in her teen years, she's been portrayed in her adult years, so they already have that age range for this 15-year-old for the Hogwarts Legacy. I feel like people love the character of Zelda and they want her to have her own lead spot in a game so badly. They even want the new Breath of the Wild to be able to switch between Link and Zelda. I feel like her entering Hogwarts in her teens and learning abilities, either Patronus's, which is very similar to like Spirit Tracks, or just learning normal spells and duking it out with a wand, would be amazing to see Zelda taking the role as the lead in this game and then solving the problems and making her own life before any of the Legend of Zelda stuff started, or in between in a separate world. Regardless, Zelda coming into Hogwarts and walking and getting sorted into a house sounds amazing to see. And I feel like little Mac here, you know, with his boxing gloves on and a wand in the boxing glove grip would look hilarious.
Wait, he's got to get his. Okay, no, cut that. Just intros right now.
All right.
We're not bashing just yet. Cicero, tell me why little Mac would make such a wonderful wizard.
Well, I mean, so we've seen Lil Mac in the ring facing off against Soda Popinski and Bol Bull and even the Iron One himself, Mike Tyson. And he's shown this innate like sixth sense about him. It's not a Spidey sense. It must be a wizarding sense.
Gotcha.
He can't be just a mere muggle. There's got to be something in there. So if he had the ability to hone that by going to the finest of wizarding schools, the finest wizarding school in all the world,
better than Evermorning for sure.
Right, and
Americans.
he could become not only a great boxer against muggles, but he could redefine wizarding pugilism for all time. Imagine how you could spin that off into games. You know, you guys probably didn't even realize that Little Mac has been available as a character to play as in Smash Bros. Nobody plays as Lil Mac because you're like, well, what can he do? But he was included for a reason, and that reason is he's a wizard, Harry.
Okay, all right. Justin, rebuttal time. Now tear it apart. It's all yours.
When it comes to Zelda, she's always been an iconic character of hope in her games. For Link, either for guidance or for her own strengths to move forward into the story. And if you go back to when Lil Mac was first introduced, you go back to the NES, some of his quotes here that I'm reading are not quotes that a leader or a person who has hope should be saying, like, I'm tired, or I can't win, his defense is too tough. These are not things that you want your lead character to be saying, even back when he started. And I feel like Zelda portrays that character, that hope and desire and accomplishment and that power that she possesses to be a lead properly. Yeah, you've got boxing gloves and you got fighting skills, but that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for what would do good in Hogwarts. It would be hilarious to watch Mac hold a wand and start using it, but I feel like that would be a Switch exclusive, number one. It would not be all over all the different versions. And I feel like Zelda is the same, but it would sell way more. Like I feel Zelda is a much more picked character in Smash than Lil Mac. You don't even think Lil Mac is there. Zelda is iconic enough that she is one of the more picked characters. And I feel like this is before Sheik was a thing. This is her childhood. Now Mac is 17, I believe, and Zelda can go any range in that bar. So they both could fit the age. But I don't think they would fit the character properly for someone wanting to play the game as a wizard and picking Little Mac to go through the story as. It would be funny, but that seems like more of a custom creation joke than something that would be seriously taken into account when you play this game. And yeah, maybe after you play through as a serious note, you could pick Little Mac as a joke, like I said, but I don't think people would be like, oh, I want to play as Little Mac through Hogwarts. That just doesn't seem something that most people would be doing. Just like Smash Brothers, it would be a pass on me, for sure.
Shots fired across the bow there. Cicero, it's yours, man.
Yeah, you know what's funny is Justin tried to make digs at my choice, but only realized during his argument that the dig also dug his own grave. Oh, I did notice that. It would be a Switch exclusive. Oh yeah, mine would be also.
It's true.
Yeah.
They're even.
My character doesn't say a lot of things. Oh yeah, my character is kind of known for not talking. And the only time she does talk is to tell the hero it's dangerous out there. Take this thing that I've made and go off and go on an adventure on your own, and I'll stay back here by myself. You know, Zelda is an iconic character. You're right. Absolutely. But what you got to see with Lil Mac, as you sat here and you talked about how he said all of those things, what you're missing is the second part. What happens after that, right? He gets a pep talk. He gets someone in his ear to give him strength. It's not about, right? And that's what Harry Potter is all about. Harry Potter isn't just about Harry Potter. It's about Hermione. It's about Ron. It's about all of his friends coming together, right? And you're talking about who wants to be Lil Mac? Who wanted to be Harry Potter? Before Harry Potter was Harry Potter, right? He was just an oddity. He was just something to either be ridiculed or made, just kind of stared at, right? He was the boy who lived, but nobody knew if he was actually special. He's just, he was just like a freak, like a sideshow. But he had to prove to everyone else and to himself that he is great. And it's not the power that's within that makes him great. It's the power that he attracts from the people that are around him that make him great and fill him with energy. And that's what Lil Mac has done. And that's what Lil Mac would do as a character at Hogwarts that you got to play in the video game. You'd really get to see that maturation. You don't get to see that type of evolution in Zelda. She's already a princess. She kind of starts out on top. She's only going to get further to the top. Lil Mac starts out as a Lil Mac. And you got to let him become a Big Mac, baby.
Okay.
You want to call it, or do you want me to go back?
No, I think I can call it there. I have heard enough. Ripping the bandit off. Justin, you won that one. And here's why. The shots fired at Little Mac were hard and heavy. And the defenses were not quite as strong as they needed to be. While I think Little Mac would do well, what you didn't say, and I think would have helped, was that it's not just about Hogwarts. It's about what happens after Hogwarts. Because this is Hogwarts Legacy we're talking about. And
right.
Only 2 years is spent in Hogwarts. There's still another 5 afterwards that you get to play through. Maybe more with downloadable, extra content. WB, hit me up. I can write some stuff for you. Don't worry. I've been thinking about it for 20 years. But the defense was there for him as a person, and why I should pick him just wasn't quite as well set as why Zelda would be good. The hope that she brings, the person that she is, starting off the age range and things like that were just really strong coming out with Justin. So Justin, you're taking the W on that one.
All right.
Also, there was some Harry Potter stuff in there that was just a little. It counted against you, and I'm sorry, Cicero. It was just off a little bit.
Oh well.
I was gonna say, be careful what you say. You might make Jelly cry.
Yeah. But okay, we're moving on. We got Matrix Reloaded's iconic Agent Smith. Battle was recreated in Sifu on PC. This is the same Sifu that you've been playing, right, Cicero? This
That
Sifu?
is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Iconic fight. What other iconic fight scene in a movie or TV show would you like to see in a video game? And Justin, I know it was different last week where the winner got the power, but we're doing it my way, which means that the winner takes the back seat. Power's going back to you, Cicero. You going first or second? And do you have a scene picked?
I'm taking the lead.
All right.
Ready? Let's do this. So in Sifu, on one of the levels, there's an elevator. And you get to ride this elevator. This is where you get a rest in the game. You get to ride this elevator up to a boss. In this version of Sifu, you would not, because you'd be in that elevator with 9 Hydra agents, and you'd be Captain America.
The Captain America elevator scene.
Fighting your way through that scene.
Great scene to choose. All right. Before we move on, Justin, let's hear from you. Which battle scene are you going? And is it movie or TV? What have you got?
I have movie.
Okay. Movie versus movie.
I went and watched this modded video of The Matrix Reloaded of Sifu, and because I didn't even know it was a thing, and then I watched it and I was like, okay, all right, that's pretty cool. They brought in the agents and Neo. But they didn't change the fight. They allowed you to fight with moves and the Sifu controls, which was cool.
Right.
So I chose something similar. I'm going to the movie IP Man, and I'm going with the 10 black belt fight scene.
The in the ring in the warehouse, that one.
Yes.
Okay.
Very similar layout to
familiar with both
Matrix.
of them. Whew. Okay, Cicero, come back to you. Why is the elevator scene a better scene to choose for a video game than the Ip Man 10 guy scene?
Because you've got essentially 9 guys fighting one guy at the same time in a confined space. So talk about kinetics, right? And just having to block and attack and block and attack and parry and block and attack and do all of those things at the same time in a space where you can't really move, right? The claustrophobia is setting in, but still come out on top.
Yeah,
is one of the most. I can do this all day.
All right,
I can do this all day.
Justin,
I can do this all day.
You know, we chose very similar things. The only difference is mine has one more person and a little bit bigger space. But they both have 9 and 10 people fighting you at the same time. The IP scene has all of them circle around and come at him at times. It's not instantaneous, which I think would work better for the game. There's not a lot of countering that I've seen in Sifu that would allow you to do that close range combat like that in mass quantity like that, 9 people at once. I feel like that would cause a lot of brain trauma to be able to click the right buttons at the right time. I feel like with the, or maybe this next point will help both of our arguments, because I feel I came up with this idea that would benefit both in this sense. Timed quick events. Adding those to the fight itself, you know, in IP Man, he kind of like singles out different black belts at a time, and then he finishes them individually. And then he goes to another person and throughout. Right. Now, that would work for you as well in the elevator with Captain and the shield or whatever. But I feel like putting those iconic, you know, finishers that are in IP Man would look awesome with quick time events, and it wouldn't really break that fight too much, because you'd be still doing your moves, and then once they get to a certain health point, you'd be able to do that quick time finish, which they're very gruesome in IP Man. Very gruesome. You know, some of the body breaking that takes, the legs. Yeah. So I feel like it would stick in that game properly. And I think the only thing that's really going to hurt the captain is that confined space, because even with the breaking down their defense and then finishing them, it's still a lot of hands coming at you at once. And with the bigger ring style, you're able to kind of isolate a few at a time, which would help it work better. And you're not just seeing a blur of people attacking you at once.
All right, Sister, back to you real quick. I need to hear a little bit more. I'm not quite there.
Slow clap, Justin. Slow clap for you. The problem with your commentary is that you haven't played the game.
Yeah.
And having not played the game, you made an assumption about the game that just isn't true, which is that you are expected to parry and counter those styles of attacks. There is a scene in the game already where you're in a space that's not much bigger than that elevator, and you're fighting probably 9 or 10 different people, and it's impossibly difficult. It is very, very difficult, but you can get through it. You don't come out unscathed, but you definitely are. You do have the ability to get through it, and it is a matter of blocking and parrying and dodging and attacking at the right time, getting the right takedowns doing all of the right things at all of the right times, at all of the right moments. And that is something that you could replicate, that I've seen done in the game, that you could transfer to a different location that already exists in the game, and you could mod those characters in that space. Could easily be done. In fact, you could mod it in the space that already exists where all of those characters are, and they could have that already in the game with Cap and the Hydra players.
Yeah.
Justin,
I do see what you did there with the slow clap, the publisher of the game. That's good. I did not know that, but I still don't think that changes much. They've modded the Matrix character. It's literally models into the game. It's not much different.
Dozens of them.
Yeah,
they've done dozens of them. They've done Batman. They've done John Wick. There's a whole slew of them. They're awesome.
The real difference is, I think, those finishers. With the quick time events, I think there's more iconic things that would reference the original scene in IP than there is in the Captain elevator scene. There's a few finishers that he does, I believe, up against the glass, but for the most part, each enemy in IP was finished a different way, and I feel like that would be more iconic and really throw you into the movie scene that I listed.
All right. So Cicero, you came out swinging, and I thought you had it from the start. Justin came in. Great intro and rebuttal. I love the idea of having the quick time or bullet time or whatever you want to call it, slowing it down, giving you those finishers. Really love that idea. The only problem is you said for both games, and had you just said in my game only.
No, I gotta be fair.
Awesome.
It would work for both,
It would work. And then Cicero coming back with, they have that's exactly what it's in the game already. That's exactly, it was definitely enough for the argument for him to take the W on it. Having already have that in the game and being able to map and model it so easily into it. Cicero, you made great points and you took the W.
Slow clap for Cicero.
You
Thank
did.
you.
That's just how it goes.
By the way, there are they're not QuickTime events, but they have finishers in the game already where you push 2 buttons and they show you a finish.
Yeah, I just felt like to make it unique to
awesome.
the mod, it would be cool to have the actual finishes in,
And that would be awesome. I mean, I'm not poo-pooing on any of these ideas because
both
the
of those would be awesome.
films are unbelievable. Donnie Yen is like beyond when it comes to his choreography and stuff like that. Yeah. If you guys have not seen Ip Man, go watch it.
Yeah, go watch them. I think they're on Netflix right now.
Yeah. 3 of them?
So if Mike was here, then I would have picked something from one of the scenes from Warrior. Mike knows exactly what I'm talking about. He's like, yes, right now. Yeah, I know I would have won. You're right.
Out,
I know I would have.
All right, Mike. He played the judge. He won anyway. So look at that. Way to go, Cicero. All right, fight number 3. We're talking Tunic. So Tunic is getting some high praise from reviews and from the community playing it. I would love you to pitch an isometric Zelda-like from a franchise that is not normally isometric. That's kind of a pretty general, broad thing here. Cicero, you on the last one. Justin, ball's in your court. You've got the power. What are you going to do with it? You gonna go first, or maybe hand it off to Cicero? What you got?
I will go first in this. It took me a long time to think about it. This was a question that I really had to break down because the gameplay of Tunic is very unique, and the isometric gameplay is also very unique. And what makes a good isometric is a lot of different things. So I was trying to pick something that hasn't been done before and deserves to be done. So I came up with the title of my game is called The Youngster Scrolls, A Tale from Elder Scrolls.
The Youngster Scrolls, A Tale. Okay. Cicero.
So, this is an Elder Scrolls isometric.
Correct. It's
Zelda-like?
called the Youngster Scrolls instead of the Elder Scrolls. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, this is I mean, oh crap. Why can't I think of the name of this series? I can't think of the name of the series. Oh crap. I can't think of the name of the series, so now I've got to think of something else.
All right.
Right. Oh crap.
And Cicero comes back.
Right. So you know what? We're gonna do BioShock 4.
Ooh.
BioShock. Okay.
BioShock 4 is gonna be an isometric Zelda-like.
All right. Justin, tell me more about what was it? One more time.
The Youngster Scrolls. Youngster.
The Youngster Scrolls. All right. I'm not going to remember that, but I'm going to try.
Yeah. BioShock actually did cross my mind when I was debating what to pick. So, what makes good isometric gameplay, right? Weapons that you achieve over time. Magic for ranged attacks. Boss battles and dungeons. Those are a lot of the key features that are going to be included, including story, of course. But those are the ones that make a good isometric. So, as for weapons, you would pick up a wooden sword, and then, God, I don't want to spoil anything to you guys for Tunic. But you would get a different type of sword. It would go across the range of Elder Scroll swords.
Other weapons.
You'd go from wooden to iron, steel, glass, and then mythic throughout the game, as well as armor for defense. You'd have cloth at first, and then move your way up to mythic. It already has dungeons in a plethora of Elder Scrolls games. You just look at Skyrim alone. You have, swamps. You have caves. You have all kinds of different monsters that you can fight throughout those. And I feel like the magic component is already a thing. Get a staff, and you can level that up as well. And bosses, it's got ridiculous bosses, from dead ones to dragons to trolls to things from the Oblivion landscape, air quotes. You have all kinds of monsters that would drop things that you could pick up and craft things to make better armor or potions or anything you need to continue your journey. And it also has puzzles in those dungeons. So there's traps that you got to watch out for. I'm thinking Indiana Jones style. And there's also puzzles. So you're going to be solving things to get through those dungeons and then fighting a big baddie at the end of it to earn something. And it could be set in the story landscape of Oblivion or Skyrim, and you're trying to save, the world by moving up. But you are a smaller child in this, so you're not the Dragonborn. You're not, the lead character you create in Oblivion. You are a child, so it's more approachable for an Elder Scrolls game for children, and yet it's still an isometric gameplay like Zelda-like. So I feel like it would really translate better. I don't know. I want to hear more about this BioShock game. I know I thought of it a while back, and I was like, I'm going to pick something else. So I want to hear what you got before I start taking swings on that.
Yes, sir. Cicero, BioShock 4.
So BioShock 4 is a prequel of sorts.
All right.
That takes you back to Rapture.
Okay.
Before the fall of Rapture. So you're going to be taken back to 1959 Rapture, and your job is to try and thwart the events of New Year's Eve of Rapture, New Year's Eve 1960, when the fall of Rapture takes place. So
Okay.
so you're going to be set in like the last 60 days before the fall of Rapture, and your job is to try and figure the things out and stop all the cataclysmic things that are about to transpire. And most of the events will lead to the demise of Rapture, leading you right into BioShock, the original game. But there are two endings that you can achieve that will change the events of the past and erase the future.
Okay. I want to hear a little bit more about why the isometric, like that angle, is going to be important to the game and the gameplay. Justin, to you, and then we'll go Cicero to you.
Now I'm a huge BioShock fan, so I've thought about it a lot. Now you're saying you're going to go back in the past to before the New Year's, and you're going to try to change the events of the first game, which basically would erase it if you achieve your goal.
You would change the events that led to the demise of Rapture.
Okay, so it's taking the original games and erasing them if you were to succeed.
Yes.
So it would be a way for them to reboot the series.
Potentially, yeah.
Okay. Because that hurts my heartstrings because I love those games so much.
Sure.
Or it just opens an opportunity to make more of better.
Jeez, Joey, that hurts too. Okay, so is it going to be a... Now, mine has, like, hand-on-hand melee combat as well as magic combat. Yours, BioShock, is mainly shooting and also your spells, basically, what you have in your other hand. So it would be kind of like The Ascent, where it would be a twin-stick shooter on isometric, or would it... I'm curious to what you would... Explain gameplay for me. That's what I want to hear.
All right, he's given up his turn. And he's coming to you, Cicero.
All right.
Let me hear about why the isometric style of gameplay, and then maybe we'll do final rebuttals.
Right. Well, so this gives them the ability to make a game that like can exist right away, right? Like if we can come up with a narrative for this game, then we can design this game in an isometric sprite-based type of way that we could actually get it out to consumers, where we don't have to build like, these realistic models and do a lot of voice acting and mocapping and all of the other things that are very labor intensive for the games, for the first person style of games that BioShock traditionally have been. So that's one aspect. That's one reason to go isometric. The other is that it's cool because now you can actually create more of what Rapture was before Rapture was destroyed. So you can have like some of the places that were cut off, some of the ballrooms that were not, that were kind of dilapidated, and then before the big daddies, before the little sisters, like all of those things, you could be a fly on the wall to figure out like those things happening. You can find like little secret passageways, a la old Zeldas. Like he said, like Justin said, you need magic and weapons and all of that stuff to go into making a good isometric Zelda-like game. Well, one of the things that has happened is you've been given you're one of the first guinea pigs. You're one of the little girls. That's one of the first guinea pigs that's been given the serum to become a little sister. And you know what's happening. You know the things that are starting to happen, and you're trying to figure out what's going on. So you're running all over the place to figure out exactly what's happening, and you're trying to stop it from happening to other people, and you're trying to stop the mass mutation that's going to like overthrow Rapture. And doing it from a top-down perspective, again, it gives you a lot of space to deal with, and it makes it a lot easier to program it and get it out to consumers.
All right, Justin, back to you real quick before I I think about things really honestly. So give me one more thing to think about while I'm mulling it over.
I'm just going to start swinging. So BioShock, as much as I would love to have a backstory further back, I don't think that before the events of New Year's and the fall of Rapture would work well. Your enemy types would be mainly human, because you don't have, the drug-filled enemies that you have in the classic BioShock. You don't have those. You have human enemies that are thinking bad thoughts and choosing to make bad decisions that's going to lead to the fall of Rapture. You don't really have the dungeon crawling. You have exploration for sure, but it's filled with people, because this was a city that people lived in at that time, and they were celebrating underwater and enjoying their time there. Even behind the scenes, if there are bad things happening, most of your exploration would be filled with other NPCs that are just living the life. So it would be kind of like a walking simulator. Honestly, I don't think that you would be attacking very much.
Not at all. Not at all. There's going to be people that have already been changed, and the big daddies will have been created to protect the little sisters as the little sisters program is moving along, as they're going, full speed ahead. So all of those things are going to be happening all at the same time. So you're going to have enemies. You're going to have people that are trying to stop you. You're going to have big daddies. So there'll be bosses. There'll be bosses. There'll be places for you to gain more weapons, to understand new things, to gain, because you've already have some of those abilities. So you're going to be using those psychokinetic abilities as well. All of that stuff is going to come into play. It's not going to just be walking around. There's stuff to do.
I can't. I feel like with the youngster scrolls, you're going to have a plethora of different bosses and monsters and different things you can do, even from your gear that you're getting and upgrading. It would work really well to play through an Elder Scrolls game, but from that perspective, and also to lead a story as a smaller individual going through it. It would work a lot better than the BioShock one. I think that with BioShock, even if we just take the weapons alone, it's going to be a lot more ranged combat. You do have a wrench, which was in the original game, but for the most part, you're not playing as a big daddy. You already said you were a little sister, and little sisters were, basically created to harvest Adam out of people that were bad, and that happened after the fall of Rapture. That didn't happen beforehand. Big daddies were a thought at that point. It wasn't going into that until way later.
The little sisters were built after. Well, the little sisters were part of a project that happened before. Like it was a black site, underground project that was happening before the fall of Rapture.
The orphanage was, yes. But not the fact that they were harvesting Adam and big daddies were protecting them. That wasn't a thing at that point.
All right, John.
Oh no, it was. It was. It was a thing that happened before the fall of Rapture.
We're deep in the woods on a story that I know nothing about. I just want to jump in here. It sounds like a really cool game. Not gonna lie, I have not played BioShock, and to be fair, I've not played any of the Elder Scrolls as well. So I think I'm coming from a good place here, saying I have no idea what either of these games are about, but y'all sold me on a game here, and even though, Justin, you were doing your best to tear it down, the game that I think I want to play is BioShock. Because whether this is canon to the story or not, the game pitched, I don't think needs to be. Says it has to be in the franchise. And, well, with the name, I suppose that means it's in the franchise. So they've rewritten canon before, right? I kind of want to play BioShock. I kind of want to know who the little sisters are and the big daddies are and what this atom is and how you harvest it. And I know that wasn't the intent of the arguments, but that's where it went. And as the judge, I'm super intrigued about BioShock now, which I thought was just Atlas Shrugged in a video game. I'm learning new things here.
That'd probably be the only
Infinite
BioShock you play. It is pretty
game.
Terrifying at times with the original set.
Yeah.
Is it okay? So maybe I still
watch
want
a video.
to.
The
Watch a
isometric
video
would
or
be a lot less scary, less
Exactly.
immersive. So it would be a better fit.
I
for
think
you,
I would
Jelly.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would love to
isometric,
play
the
either
little
I
back
like
from
the
angle.
I like the idea of the game having several endings, most of which lead to poor outcomes. But
That
a
sounds fun,
couple
yeah.
but if you do certain things right,
Just
you
right.
could erase the entire franchise.
That the idea behind that is very fun for me. I know, Justin, you were not a huge fan of that, but I love the idea of being able to go in and get rid of it. It just seems fun. All right, we are doing a blind fight, but like last week, it's a new, and air quotes here, segment because it is Celebrity Blind Fights. And this week it was provided by Tony Polanco, who, if you guys have been here a while, you remember he was on the show a little while back. But yeah, he jumped in and he provided the question this week. So Tony, shout out to you. And I can't remember his Twitter handle, but it'll be on there. And it's Romudeth, I think.
At Romudeth, yes.
Oh, I did remember it. I just wasn't sure. It's one of those things where you don't really want to mess it up when everyone's listening, you know? Live. Listen to Joe make a mistake. Romudeth on Twitter. And you can thank him for such a good question. So Tony says, very simple here, but also careful. Which console generation was the worst? Yeah. Oof. So let me get my clock ready, and I'm not going to hold it up this time, even though I usually do that. And this is minute opener, 30-minute rebuttal, 30 second, 30 minutes. Yikes. Y'all just got real worried, huh? So minute opener, 30-second rebuttal, 30-second closing. And Cicero, you won the last one. So Justin, blind fight's going to you first if you want it.
Jeez.
Do you
so
have
this
the
is going to
answer?
be a quick blind celebrity fight?
Yes. It's all of the adjectives. Yes.
Oh goodness.
It is a standard blind fight brought to you by a celebrity, judged like a blind fight where you got 1, 30, and 30.
Quick attack blind fights.
Yes, one of those.
Right.
Not like last time where it was just a one-off and what you said was what you got and then judgment was made. I'm going to give you a little more time. But still, you can only get a minute, so make it good.
I'm going to have to go with the second generation.
Your time is going?
Oh, I forgot that I thought I was just giving an answer. Sorry.
No, 1 minute. You got 1 minute.
You got
so that
50 seconds.
That includes the Atari 2600, the Intellivision, the ColecoVision, the Atari 5200. I feel like this generation, it had the whole Atari debacle with E.T. It had a bunch of terrible ports to the 2600. I feel like it was a good start for gaming, but it didn't quite do as good as the first. And I feel like to start was great, and then you just went down the tube with, that terrible Atari debacle. Cartridges and games were just not up to what we had in arcades at that time. And I feel like the games might have been labeled the same, but the game quality was not. And it might have given you something fun to play as a child, but it didn't.
All right,
hang
great
around.
answer. I love it. Yep, I'm going to cut you off so no one can hear. We're starting over. And second generation was Justin's pick. He laid out a lot of reasons why. So Cicero, waiting on you, and then when you start, I will start the timer. That way we know what we're doing.
Okay, well, Justin, very good attempt there, but clearly the answer is the generation that contained the Sega Saturn, the Philips 3DI, or the Panasonic 3DO, and the Atari Jaguar. 4 more irrelevant systems you cannot find. You talked about your systems, but you named 4 systems, 4 consoles that laid the groundwork for all of the consoles that came after it, right? They are revered. My consoles, on the other hand, only laid the groundwork for what not to do in gaming. So they're reviled. And that is the difference. That's why it's the worst.
Oh, we're on the minute exactly. Very good with the word worst. Okay, we've got I don't know what generation that was. What generation was that?
5.
The 5th generation. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. 5th generation. I know what you said the consoles were. I've never heard of them. We've got 30 seconds for the rebuttal on your start, Justin.
Now, something that you said here, the 5th generation, I understand where you're coming with Sega Saturn and Atari Jaguar and the Sega, any of the Sega CDs, but the 5th generation also included PlayStation, Nintendo 64, and those are 2 of the biggest consoles of our childhood, and that's way better than my generation. Just GoldenEye alone and Ocarina of Time are way better than anything that we played on the Atari 2600.
All right. And it's Cicero's turn for the rebuttal. On your mark, Cicero, whenever you're ready.
Point of order. Those systems came out after those consoles that I mentioned, the consoles you mentioned. They came out along with the Dreamcast, Sega Dreamcast, and the Wii. I mean, not the Wii, the GameCube. So that was another generation. One game I forgot in this generation was Nintendo Virtual Boy. The entire generation of games stunk. They were horrible.
All right, and only enough time for closing. Goodness, it's going to be difficult. Only going to arguments. Okay, Justin, we're coming back to you. 30 seconds closing. Use it however you want it to defend why your pick was worse, or to continue to rebut why Cicero's was not as bad when you're ready.
The 5th generation is from 93 to 2006. That is the dates. So if you want to look that up, Jelly, that's where it is. It goes from FM Towns Marty all the way to Apple Pippin on this page. That includes Nintendo 64, Super Mario 64, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Mic drop, dude. You can't say that's bad. That's worse than the Atari 2600. You can't. There's no way. I'm sorry, dude. But that's what I'm seeing here.
All right. 30 seconds. Cicero, when you're ready.
You know, I guess it's kind of not fair because, you know, you're reading stats off the page. I'm telling you what I lived. And you can say that the generation spanned all of this time, but so what you're saying is in that generation, Sega released 2 consoles, and that's impossible. So they released the Sega Saturn, and then in that time were all those other crappy games, and then the good stuff came after.
All right. Yo, that's a tough one. I gotta go only on arguments here. Openers were good. Openers were really good. Second gen, I think the second gen had 2 Ataris in it mentioned. So it kind of hits back against 2 consoles in one generation.
I argue against that also. Yeah, but go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good because that's just, it's a small point. It doesn't. I don't know if I can base it solely on that. So how I would define the generation is, yes, in a generation that's 1 console per manufacturer, they get that's that generation of consoles, and then when the next one came out, that'd be a new generation. If we're going by how the website defines it, that's a huge time in between. Now, which one is worst? Solely, I think that, Justin, you put a lot of emphasis on games and why the games were so good, and because of the games, the consoles were really good. You also mentioned that the consoles were good, so I have to take that into effect. You specifically mentioned N64 and PlayStation. Sister brought up the Dreamcast. If they were all in that same generation, those are really good, but are they better than what built them? I think is where I'm going. And Cicero brought this up. Without having the fifth generation, the ones that have never been heard of, going based solely on like Atari 2600, which is arguably one of the most iconic gaming systems of all time, and what led to the birth of, gaming essentially. The other one was the computer,
Apple IIe,
the PCFX,
Amiga, the Commodore 64,
the Commodore 64. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah. So between those two, that's probably the grandfather of gaming, the father of gaming, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if. Oh shoot, I don't know. I honestly, because between the two of them, I think the worst one is going to be the one that didn't give us as much here. And I think the one that didn't give us as much would be the later ones, which is the 64-bit gaming, assuming Nintendo 64 didn't give us as much as the 26. I don't know. Oh, shoot.
I want Jelly.
Okay.
This is perfect, because if Jelly picks you, Cicero, he's saying that the N64 Ocarina of Time is worse than the Atari 2600, and I'm okay with this. I will cheers to this.
I am. Oh, dang it. I think the worst generation has got to be, I hate myself, the 5th generation, because it did not give us as much as the 2nd generation, which means, Justin, you're welcome. And I hate that, and it leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. But that's it. The 5th generation was worse than the 2nd generation. So, Cicero, is that a win?
That
is a win.
That's 3.
That is a win.
Oh, I don't like that.
I'll take it.
Oh, God. You just said that E.T. the Extraterrestrial on 2600 is better than the Ocarina of Time on camera. Thank you, fans.
What I'm saying is the console. We're not talking games here. What is the worst console
generation? Includes the games that came out in that generation.
So this argument that the PlayStation and the N64 are part of that same generation with those other consoles is just it's hard to swallow.
Yeah,
that was
the facts, right?
Difficult. Yeah,
it's the facts.
Yeah,
if we go by the one page that gives us those dates,
yeah.
But the Dreamcast comes out on the 6th generation.
The 3DO, the Philips CDI, the Jaguar, the Saturn, and the Virtual Boy. These were just duds after duds after duds after duds after duds. And then you had the PSX and the Nintendo 64.
And the Saturn.
They were by themselves. And and the Saturn, right? Saturn, but you had the Dreamcast after that. The Saturn was trash.
Yeah, Dreamcast
Saturn
was actually
trash.
the 6th generation that came out with PS2 and the
PS2,
original Xbox and GameCube.
Right. Yeah.
Dreamcast
Yeah.
was great, but didn't have a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I really liked it. I had one.
Yeah, Dreamcast was great. But Sega
all right.
was trash.
Yeah, I feel bad about saying that.
I don't know. In a way,
I don't like that you said that, Justin. No. Leaderboard. Listeners, thank you for sticking with us through the namesake segment. Test your might. The might has been tested, but we're done with that now. We're moving past it because I need to. So welcome to the leaderboard. We are talking the top 5 Game Pass games to play on Steam Deck if you've got one. And this is honor of the xCloud coming to the Steam Deck. So doing a traditional, we're picking 3 games apiece. And I'm not going first this time. I'm going to go last because I did not do my homework. So I'm going to do it right now. Justin?
Yep.
Going to you first.
All right.
If you have the document open, can you put yours in as I look up which games are on Game Pass?
All right. My 3 picks are going to be Tunic, the new love of my life. Forza Horizon 5, racing game. Excellent.
Never heard of it. I'm just kidding.
Okay. And, of course, Skyrim. I would love to play Skyrim in a portable, well-processed environment. And, yeah, it's on Game Pass. If Game Pass is coming to Steam, I don't have to buy it again for the 19th time or whatever it is. So that'll be good. On to Cicero.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm going to go No Man's Sky.
Nice.
Crusaders 2, I think is what it's called. It's like the 4X game that it's on PC right now, but it's coming. What was his name? T-Pain was doing those
Crusader Kings 3.
Yeah, Crusader Kings. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So I got half the name wrong.
That was a great trailer, by the way.
And the number wrong. But yeah, those interstitials were hilarious.
Yeah.
And then my third title. You know what? A great title to play would be Grim Fandango.
Ooh.
Grim Fandango.
There we go, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That is good.
All right. I've had enough time to look, and I'm cheating here. I'm not going by exactly what I know, but what other people have said are the best ones, and what I know people are playing. I'm not going to pick the tops, but I'm going to pick what I think would go well on a handheld. I've heard that Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is an unbelievable game. I can only imagine that being able to take that game with you on the go would be just as great. So that's got to be one of them. So Guardians of the Galaxy. Also can't wait to play it because Cicero, I know I've heard from you. Well, I've heard from you on the podcast. Yeah, Game of the Year. So I know it's going to be good. Got to go with that. I think I'm going to go with kind of an out there pick, but might be really good. And that's Halo. The campaign specifically. Judging off of Mike's statements of it, because I have not played it yet. Halo Infinite campaign has one of the best playthroughs and has the movability and has just had the tweaks needed to make it an unbelievable game. And I think being able to play that again on the go or whenever you wanted, if it's your toilet time game, wherever, but like being able to play that in the palm of your hands, I can't imagine that's a bad thing. And then for the last one, I'm going for a fighting game, and I'm going to give it to Mortal Kombat, because who doesn't love Mortal Kombat? And fighters are fun. Mortal Kombat 11, because that's the one that I see that's on Game Pass.
Okay.
And I would take it over UFC, because I played one of those games years ago, and it was not what I liked.
Okay.
We get a must-have.
Yeah, it's hard to pick a must-have. Honestly, I'm going to put Tunic. Yeah, I think that's my must-have.
Tunic. Okay. All right. Tunic's on there. Cicero, what are you choosing?
You know what? Just for its like easeability. Yeah, I'm just because it's kind of like a low key game, or it can be. No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. All right. And I am gonna choose Guardians of the Galaxy because out of my three choices, I feel like that's the one that I would want to play the most.
Okay.
Man, I don't know if I can agree with that. I just feel like Guardians is something you want to play on a big screen, you know, to really immerse yourself.
As long as you have some headphones, I think.
Yeah,
I think
some good headphones. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be good.
For fighting
I got good
wise,
headphones.
I would fight for Crusader Kings because I feel like that one is up there with real-time strategy kind of look, and that works great in handheld as well as on the big screen. Also, MK11, of course. Fighting games would work really well in a small handheld setting. Those are the two.
I'm thinking fighting or driving because I get behind Forza on that as well.
Yeah.
I didn't even look at my picks. Yeah, Forza is another good one. Yeah.
Handheld drivers
Forza's
are fun.
great, right? Yeah, Forza is just a fantastic game. What I'm thinking about, or at least how I'm looking at it, is I want a game that isn't very intense, right? Like it's not going to be demanding of my time at any particular moment. So if it is a toilet time game, when I'm done, I can just put the console down and not even have to worry about like pausing it or being in a moment or something like that. So that's where like Crusaders Kings 3 or Grim Fandango come in to play for me.
Okay. So you guys both said Crusader Kings. I think we can objectively say that deserves to be on there then. I don't know enough about it. I'm interested in putting Forza on there. If you guys...
I will never say no to Forza.
Can you give me a good reason why it shouldn't be on there then, Justin?
For Forza?
Yep. Why one of the other ones would be better?
I can't, but if it is a bathroom game, testing your might is pretty good to have on there, while you're doing whatever, you're fighting somebody. That's pretty intense.
It could be an Uber ride, it could be, whatever. But when you got some sit down time to play your handheld, you're on the bus, you're on the underground,
racing is always good. Racing is definitely good. It's very relaxing. It's not as intense as Halo would have been. And
you can always pause it and pick it back up.
Right.
Yeah, I'm down for Forza.
Cool. Me too. And it's not even my pick, but I really like that choice. I can't spell though.
It's all right.
Yeah, we know what you're typing.
No one sees this.
Yeah.
Nobody sees it.
Hold up, let me screen share really quick.
Literally only 3 people see this.
Yep. And like I said, it's been a minute, but if you're still here, I love you and appreciate the heck out of you. Don't forget to leave a review, maybe a thumbs up, maybe slap a comment on what you think should have been down there. And if you disagree with us, tell us. Twitter, on YouTube here if you're watching, or if you're on a podcast listening to us, tweet right at us and be like, yo, mad face emojis, you guys are ridiculous, these should have been the games. But this is our top 5. We've got Tunic, in no particular order, we've got Tunic, No Man's Sky, Guardians of the Galaxy, Crusader Kings 3, and Forza Horizons 5. And that is our top 5 Game Pass games to play on Steam Deck. Thank you. Woo. Hey, that was an episode, and I kept it under 2 hours.
You did it. Yatta.
I appreciate all of you for being here, listeners and viewers. I'm talking to you directly here. Appreciate you. Thank you. Love you guys, and I've missed you terribly. I know I haven't been around, especially on this channel as much, at least behind the camera or in front of the camera, but rather behind the camera. I have been very busy getting work done. So if you're liking it and enjoying it, and you like the videos and the little edits and the fun things, let me know, because that's where I've been at. Now, talking to my guests here, Justin and Cicero, I am so glad I got to be here with you. This has been a wonderful episode, and I'll be sad that I won't be on next week. That's the effect it had on me, is I'm going to miss it until the next time I'm on. But this was a wonderful episode. So, signing off, and I'll see you again hopefully soon. But it's been Joe, Justin, and Cicero, and we thank you. Bye, everyone.